Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the Smart Device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History,
Historical calendar,
and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else we gather throughout the show, check the description. Anyway, I am Alexander.
I am Lunk.
And today is Tears Day, aka Tuesday, April 12, 2022. Well, you start us off today, Mr. Lunk. Did I post a script? Okay. Did I post a script? I think I did.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
240. Sephiroth the first co-emperor of the Caesarian Empire, with his father, Argersir the first.
Moving on up into 467, which is 1,555 years ago, Anthemius was elevated to emperor of the Western Roman Empire.
Good, nice. Also, 627, King Edwin of Northumbria is converted to Christianity by Paulian, Bishop of York.
Doing a significant time jump to the year 1012, which is 1010 years ago, Duke Uldric of Bohemia deposed and blinded his brother Jaromir, who fled to Poland. Well, that's horrible. And how did he find his way to Poland?
And how did he blind his brother? He just pulled his pants down like, look, brother!
Dang. Dang.
No. Also, 1204, the Crusades of the Fourth Crusade breached the walls of Constantinople and entered the city, which they completely occupied the following day.
Dang. I had no idea Constantinople once fell. Interesting. In 1606, the Union flag was adopted as the flag of English and Scottish ships. The Union flag. Let me look at that.
All faces fall.
The Union Jack. Okay. Yeah. What was it you said?
All huge civilizations eventually fall.
Oh yeah, well that's true. Well, I mean, I didn't know the actual city of Constantinople, fell in a siege. Well, I think I did, but I don't really remember.
Eventually Istanbul.
Yeah, that's true. I thought that was just a regime change, though, but whatever. Anyway, in 1776, the American Revolution, with the Halifax Resolves, the North Carolina Provisional Congress authorized its congressional delegation to vote for independence from Britain. Nice.
Also, 1807, the Fromberg Mutiny ends when the remaining mutineers blow up the magazines at Fort Russoli.
Dang. That's ending it with a bang, I tell you what. In the year 1820, which is 202 years ago, Alexander Yipilantis was declared leader of Veliki Eteria, a secret organization to overthrow Ottoman rule over Greece. Ooh, secret societies. Ooh.
So in 1831, soldiers marching on the Borough Suspension Bridge in Manchester, England, caused it to collapse.
Yeah, I don't remember what video I was watching, but it's interesting. People just naturally eventually walk in rhythm, and this is why, especially on suspensions bridges and such, there's a limit to how many people can be on there, because if there's enough people, it can actually cause the bridge to destabilize and, in this case, collapse. So that's why they have stagger. That's why they order, when crossing a bridge, military troops to march out of formation in order to prevent something like that from happening. Anyway, in 1861, during the American Civil War, the Battle of Fort Sumter. The war began when Confederate forces firing on Fort Sumter in the harbor of Charleston, South Carolina. Oh, here we go, the start of the Civil War. 161 years ago to this date.
Yep. Also, 1862 American Civil War, the Andrews Raid, the Great Locomotive Chase occurs, starting from Big Shanty, Georgia, now Kennesaw.
Interesting. 2 years later, in 1864, also during the American Civil War. Wow, we have a lot of Civil War stuff to do. Another one later. The Battle of Fort Pillow, Confederate Fort Pillow. That sounds very comfy. Confederate forces killed most of the African American soldiers that surrendered at Fort Pillow, Tennessee. That is awful. But keep in mind, my source is a liberal one, so this might be a completely fictitious account of history. But this is still horrible if it is true. So.
Yeah. Also, 1865, American Civil War, Mobile, Alabama falls to the Union Army.
Good. Why don't you take the next one?
Sure. In 1900, one day after...
1877.
1877, United Kingdom annexes the Transvaal.
What is the Transvaal? Let me look that up real quick. Transvaal. Oh, it's it's northeast of South Africa. Yeah. The province of the Transvaal, commonly referred to as the Transvaal, was a province of South Africa from 1910 until 1994, when the new constitution subdivided it following the end of apartheid. The name Transvaal refers to the province's geographical location to the north of the Vaal River. Interesting. I'm going to add that to the underbar. That's a tidbit of information. Jumping on up into the next century, in the year 1900, one day after its enactment by the Congress, President William McKinley signed the Foraker Act into law, giving Puerto Rico limited self-rule. Which is a step in the right direction, but Puerto Rico is still pretty much a puppet state of the U.S. There are property, but they don't have the right to vote, so that's not good.
Also, 1910, SMS Serenity, one of the last pre-dreadnought battleships built by the Austro-Hungarian Navy, is launched.
Cool. And yeah, like the dreadnought era is what gave birth to battleships and all that thing. So it revolutionized naval warfare ever since Old Ironsides. Jumping on up into 1917, during the First World War, Canadian forces successfully completed the taking of Vimy Ridge from the Germans. Nice. See? Canadians may be polite, but they're hard as nails. You know? What happened in 1927?
In 1927, Texas is hit by an F5 tornado that destroys 335 of the 247 buildings in the town, kills 72 townspeople, and injures 205. Third deadliest tornado in Texas history.
Dang. That's awful. It completely almost destroyed Rock Springs. 235 out of 247, so it only left 12 buildings standing. Jesus. Also in 1927, the Shanghai Massacre of 1927 occurred, in which Chiang Kai-shek ordered the Chinese Communist Party members executed in Shanghai, ending the First United Front. Well, that was not enough. Look where we're at now. Should have gotten rid of all of them. You there?
Yep. Also, in 1928, the Berman and German Junkers W-33 type aircraft take off from the first successful transatlantic airplane flight from east to west.
Interesting. It's pretty cool. 6 years later, in 1934, the strongest surface wind gust in the world at the time of 231 miles per hour was measured at the summit of Mount Washington in New Hampshire. It has since been surpassed. So, strongest surface wind gust in the world. Let me look that up. What is the current record? Did I add that to the other bar? I did. Mount Washington. Okay, observatory. World record win for nearly 62 years. Blah blah blah. It was toppled in 1996 when an unmanned instrument station in Barrow Island, Australia, recorded a new record of 253 miles per hour during tropical cyclone Olivia. Though the observatory record fell, it's a very human story, and it still stands as the highest surface wind speed ever observed by man. So, it's still a record technically observed by the naked eye, but yeah. Dang. What else happened on that year?
What happened also in that year? We're in... What year are we in? 1930?
1938?
Oh, 1938.
1934, sorry, 1934.
The U.S. 1934. The U.S. Auto Light Strike begins, accumulating in a 5-day melee between Ohio National Guard troops and 6,000 strikers and picketers.
Dang. 5-day fight. That's not good.
Yeah, I know. It's horrible.
Moving on up into 1945, during World War II, the U.S. Ninth Army under General William H. Simpson crossed the Elbe River astride Magdeburg and reaches Tangermunde, which is only 50 miles from Berlin.
Yeah. Also...
Oh no.
Yeah, it happened. Also 1945. Also 1945, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt died in office. Vice President Harry S. Truman becomes president upon Roosevelt's death.
Oh man, that sucks. He didn't get to see the end of the war. And that's right, Truman did authorize the bomb drops on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But Roosevelt allowed the Manhattan Project, so at least he saw where things were going. But that's tragic. Poor guy. 1 decade later, in 1955, the polio vaccine developed by Dr. Jonas Salk was declared safe and effective. Well, with what's going on in today's world, I don't trust anything anymore. And then in 1961...
polio is way more scarier than what's going on now.
Well, definitely. I mean, like, my dad was around during all the polio stuff. So, like, that was an actual serious problem. Not this kung flu crap that we're going through. But yeah, even if the kung flu was serious, with all this medical tyranny, mask mandates, vaccine passports, all this crap, I don't know. I don't like where we're at right now at all. So, but what happened in 1961?
1961, the space race. So the Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin becomes the first human to travel into outer space and perform the first crewed orbital flight, Vostok 1.
Nice, very nice. So today is the anniversary of the first man in space. That's really cool. Hats off to you, Mr. Gagarin. 2 years later, in 1963, the Soviet nuclear-powered submarine K-33 collided with the Finnish merchant ship vessel MS Finn Clipper in the Danish Straits. That sucks. You there?
Yeah.
Are you in the middle of a game or something?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to take us into 1970, in which a Soviet submarine K-8 carrying 4 nuclear torpedoes sunk in the Bay of Biscay 4 days after a fire on board. Well, that's never good.
Yeah.
Fire in a submarine? Ay-ay-ay. Nuclear weapon? Ay-ay-ay!
Yeah, it's horrible. I'll do it at 1980. The 1980s.
Okay.
1980, Trans-Brazil Flight 303, a Boeing 727 crashes on approach to Herculano Luiz National Airport, Florianópolis, Brazil. 55 out of the 58 people on board are killed.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
And also-
imagine being one of those 3 people. Like, everybody else died except for you and 2 others. Like, that's trauma right there. That's trauma.
It is trauma. Also in 1980, Canadian running athlete Terry Fox begins his Marathon of Hope run in St. John enough.
What is the Marathon of Hope? Like, was that something to do with AIDS or cancer or civil rights or? Let's look this up. Cancer research. Okay. He hoped to raise for $1 for each of Canada's 24. Where'd it go? Something. I hate it when. Oh yeah, here we go. 24 million people. So he's trying to raise $24 million, and he did it with only one leg. Dang.
That's epic.
Yeah, you know, he has a prosthetic leg in this photo here.
That's epic.
Hell yeah.
Also, 1980, the Americo-Liberian government of Liberia is violently deposed. Oh my god.
Ah, dang. 365 days later, in the year 1981, which is 41 years ago for anyone interested, the first launch of a space shuttle, which was the Columbia, took place on the STS-1 mission. That, I wonder if that's intentional to coincide with the anniversary of Yuri Gagarin, you know?
I'm guessing.
Maybe.
That'd be cool if it was.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. 1983, Harold Washington is elected as the first black mayor of Chicago.
Nice. Why don't you take this next one here?
Oh well. 1990, Jim Gary's 12th Century Dinosaurs exhibition opens up at the Smithsonian Institution National Museum of the Natural History in Washington, D.C. He is the only sculptor ever invited to present a solo exhibition there.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
And I've been to the Natural History Museum in the what's it called, the mall, the Great Mall, the something mall.
Like, mall, yes, I know.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Not the Mall of America, but
DC, in DC.
Yeah, like it's not really a shopping mall. It's like that whole area with like, you know, like the White House, the Capitol, you know, all the memorials, you know, all that stuff. The National Mall, is that what it's called? The National Mall?
Yes, it is. Okay. The National Mall.
Yeah. Anyway, 2 years later in 1992, the Euro Disney Resort officially opened with its theme park, Euro Disneyland. This resort and its park name were subsequently changed to Disneyland Paris. Yeah, boo Disneyland. Okay. Bunch of groomers.
Also, 1999, U.S. President Bill Clinton is cited for contempt of court for giving intentional false statements on a civil lawsuit he is later fined and disbarred.
Does this have to do with the Monica Lewinsky thing?
I'm guessing.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
No, I think it's him smoking.
Smoking?
Like, yeah, he smoked, but he didn't inhale.
I'm confused. Oh, like weed is what you're talking about?
Yeah, he took a puff, but he didn't inhale.
Oh, well, that's just a waste of weed then. You know, he should be fined and disbarred for that, if anything.
Yes.
Jumping on up into the next millennia, in the year 2002, a suicide bomber blew himself up at the entrance to Jerusalem's Mahan Yehuda market, killing 7 people and wounding 104. Yeah.
Also, 2007, a suicide bomber penetrates the green zone and detonates in a cafeteria within a parliament building, killing Iraqi MP Mohammed Arad and wounding more than 20 other people. Holy shit.
Jesus.
Back-to-back suicide bombers.
I know, right? 2009, Zimbabwe officially abandoned the Zimbabwean dollar as its official currency. Didn't they go, like, completely like, bankrupt and everything?
I think so.
Yeah.
Also, 2010, Marino derailment, a rail incident in South Tyrol, kills 9 people and injures a further 28.
Jeez. Another suicide bombing in 2013. They killed 3 Chadian soldiers and injured dozens of civilians at a market in Kidal, Mali.
Damn.
Or Mali.
And
Sorry.
Yeah. In 2014, the Great Fire of Spyro ravages the Chilean city of Valparaiso, killing 16 people, displacing nearly 10,000 and destroying over 2,000 homes.
Good lord.
Oh god, it's horrible.
Yeah, looks like they got a taste of California. Before we go into births and deaths here, any articles spark your interest here?
Yes, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin.
And don't forget the first space shuttle mission with Columbia.
Yeah, that too.
And let's see here. I don't care about Disneyland. Well, Harold Washington, that's pretty cool. The first black mayor of Chicago.
Yep, him too.
Oh yeah, and the Canadian guy tried to raise. Well, I'm not sure if he did or not, but his marathon, on one leg. So. Oh yeah, and Roosevelt dying. That's also an intriguing one. Makes me wonder, like, did he die or did he get killed? So that way, Truman can take office, because that's what what's his face did with Kennedy. One of the perpetrators of having him killed so he can get office. What was his name? Johnson? Like, who came after Kennedy?
Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah, it was Johnson. Okay. Anyway, moving on into births. Why don't you start us off here?
Yeah. Come on, phone.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll start us off. In the year 811... okay.
811, Muhammad al-Jad, the 9th Imam of Shia Islam.
Doing a approximate 600-year time jump into the year 1484, Antonio di Sangallo the Younger, an Italian architect who designed the Apostolic Palace and St. Peter's Basilica. And is that the one in Russia?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm checking out the Apostolic Palace first, and then St. Peter's Basilica. Antonio di Sangallo the Younger.
While you do that, 1705, William Cookworth, English minister and pharmacist.
Interesting. And I'm looking at the Apostolic Palace. Looks interesting. I'd like to go check that out. Oh, that's what it looks like. Okay. Kind of looks Vatican-esque a little bit. And St. Peter's Basilica looks like just like another cool cathedral-esque looking church type thing. Man, I gotta go to these places in real life, man. I'm such a glutton for architecture and such. And then 1792, John Lambton, the first Earl of Durham, born on this date, English soldier and politician who was a Lord Privy Seal. And while I'm looking up a Lord Privy Seal, I'm going to make a comment on the previous one. Cookworthy sounds like cannibalism. Like, is he cookworthy? Is he worthy to be cooked? But the Lord Privy Seal is the fifth of the great officers of state in the UK, ranking beneath the Lord President of the Council and above the Lord Great Chamberlain. Alright, I'm going to add this in the underbar as well. And who was born today in 1856?
1856, Martin Conway, first Baron Conway of Arlington, English mountaineer, cartographer, and politician.
1869, Henry Desiré Landru, a French serial killer.
1874, William B. Bankhead, American lawyer and politician who was the 47th Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Yeah. With a name like Bankhead, does he have money on his mind, or is his mind on his money? 1894, we have Dorothy Cumming, an Australian-American actress. That's a really unfortunate last name.
Also, 1907, Zagui, Burmese poet, author, literary historian, critic, scholar, and academic.
Dang, what didn't this guy do? That's another 3. That's 7 things. Holy crap, dude. Also in 1907, Felice D. Weldon was born on this date. He was an Austrian U.S. sculptor who designed the Marine Corps War Memorial. And that, of course, is the one in Arlington National Cemetery, with the famous hoisting the flag up on Mount Suribachi in Iwo Jima. So, yeah.
Also, 1912, Hamengkubuwono won the 9th Indonesian politician who was the second vice president of Indonesia.
With a name like that, he didn't ever become president. You can't put that on a pin. Anyway, 1932, Tiny Tim, a U.S. singer and ukulele player. Hey, he lived.
Also, 1939, Johnny Raper, Australian rugby player and coach.
If it was a rapper, it'd be 2-piece, I believe, if my English is correct. Ooh, 1940, Herbie Hancock, U.S. pianist, composer, and bandleader. He's the one who did Roboto, right?
I think so. 1947, Tom Clancy, U.S. historian and author.
Yep. Rainbow Six Siege, anyone?
Yeah.
Also in 1947, David Letterman, a U.S. comedian and talk show host.
1960, David Thurkill, U.S. baseball player.
Dang. I wonder who the first and second kill are. 2 years later, 1962, Nobuhiko Takada was born on this date. He was a Japanese mixed martial artist and wrestler who founded Hustle.
Okay. In 1969, Michael Jackson, U.S. football player and politician.
Hee. Oh. Anyway, moving on into deaths in 45 BC, we have Gnaeus Pompeius, a Roman general and politician. That's a really cool name. Sounds like the beginning of a rap thing. Yo, my name is Gnaeus Pompeius, and let me just say this.
Also, 352 after you start strong. Pope Julius I, Pope of the Catholic Church.
Yep. 434, Maximanus, Archbishop of Constantinople.
And, that's another huge time jump. 1555, Joanna of Castile, Normanna, Queen of Castile, Aragon, and so on.
Yeah, my source said and so on, so that means that there is other things that she was involved with. But she's also historically known as Joanna the Mad. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things here, so I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm going to post this into the underbar. But before I do, I'm going to take us up into 1748, in which William Kent died. He was an English architect who designed Holcombe Hall and Chiswick House. And I have got to look that up here. While I'm doing that, you could take the next
1782, Metastasio, Italian Austrian poet and composer.
I gotta see if that's his actual name, though. So let me see here. Metastasio. Nope. Pietro Antonio Domenico Charapisi. So that's his actual name. Man, I guess stage names have been around forever. Copy. Who else died on this date?
William. Oh no. Which year?
1795.
1795, Johann Caspar Bachelet von Le Rose, Bavarian general.
Dang, that's a heck of a name right there. I'm looking at Holcomb Hall right now. Oh, that's pretty cool. Area, place. And then Cheswick House looks interesting as well. That kind of looks like the big house from Django Unchained when Dr. Scholes, not the shoe doctor, the dentist, told the guy he has 5,000 reasons to listen to him. Anyway, moving on up into 1912, we have Clara Barton, a U.S. nurse and humanitarian who founded the American Red Cross.
Nice. Also, 1945, Franklin D. Roosevelt, U.S. lawyer and politician who was the 32nd president of the United States.
And the sole reason why, because of him and his popularity, he had 4 terms. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16. So 16 years, I believe, unless he died beforehand, because he did die in office. So, but I'd say up to 16 years in office, and they had to put in an amendment because of him, limiting presidential runs to only 2 terms in office. So, moving on up into 1966, Sidney Allard died on this date. He was an English racing driver and founder of the Allard Car Company.
Okay, in 1977, Philip K. Wrigley, U.S. businessman who co-founded the Lincoln Park Gun Club.
Nice. Always need more gun clubs. I'd like to join Dale Gribble's gun club, you know.
No.
Why not? They're in the basement of a bookstore. That's awesome. At least they used to be. 1989, Abby Hoffman, a U.S. activist who co-founded Youth International Party. That sounds like exploiting children for politics, and that's never good.
Also, 1989, Sugar Ray Robinson, U.S. boxer.
2001, Harvey Ball died on this date. He was a U.S. illustrator who created the smiley. So, like, you know, every time the smiley buttons, even the Watchmen smiley, that's all his design. Stemmed from him. Yeah.
2004, Moran Campbell, Canadian physician and academic who invented the Venturi mask.
The Venturi mask, also known as an air entrainment mask, entrainment mask, is a medical device to deliver a known oxygen concentration to patients on controlled oxygen therapy. The mask was invented by Moran Campbell at McMaster University Medical School as a replacement for intermediate oxygen treatment. Interesting. And then 2011, we have Karim Fakhrai, a Bahraini journalist who co-founded Al Wasat.
And 2017, Charlie Murphy.
Darkness.
U.S. acting comedian.
What are the 5 fingers say to the face? Smack! Fuck your couch!
I forgot Charlie Murphy passed away.
Yeah, that made me sad. I did not know that. Like, I saw that earlier today, and sad times. But anyway, that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes
Sohin TV on Twitch
and everything Omni Coalition. For your dose of Passive Events Daily, we stream every day between noon and 3 o'clock Pacific Time.
to the 5 Central.
I am Mayo Xander.
Lunk.
And until you see us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until you see us tomorrow, toodles! Woo!
Peace.